Hi everybody, this is Marco, and these are the 3 most common mistakes that 3.5 level players make and how to fix them. Mistake number 1, not serving and not returning deep enough into the opponent's court. The reason why this is a common error is that we are making it way too easy on our opponents to gain court and get themselves to the kitchen line. By serving deep and returning deep, we apply maximum pressure at the beginning of every single rally. Notice, I have set targets on both sides of the net, about 3 feet from the baseline. These are both the target for the serve and the return. We want to be aiming in these zones every single time. To achieve this, I want 3.5 level players to use a little bit more ball flight to achieve distance. The ball does not have to be terribly low across the net. How we are going to do this, we're going to point our left foot for right-handed players directly in the middle of that service box. Whether we're taking a volley serve or a drop serve, make sure that we're reaching out in front, and as we come through, think about underhand throwing this ball. Nice and smooth. Give yourself a little bit of distance, and here's the trick. We want that serve crossing the plane of the net at roughly 5 or 6 feet. If we can hit a nice smooth swing at this ball flight, we will consistently achieve distance in the opponent's court. I'm going to demonstrate a few examples of good serves and bad serves. We're going to start with the bad first. So a bad serve would end up looking something flat and low across the net. We are not achieving that level of distance that we are striving for by hitting a ball too low across that net height. Instead, a good example would look a little bit taller and a little bit loftier. The difference is I get an additional 4 or 5 feet of distance by using a little more height across the net height. Notice I am not overswinging on these taller serves. I am being nice and smooth with my approach, following through. I want to swing through this ball entirely and not feel like I'm bunting and retracting. That'll be far too difficult to replicate. Next, the return of serve is the exact same goal and is the exact same ball flight. We're going to use a little added height to achieve distance. However, the form and the mechanics are slightly different. When we are lining up to receive a serve, we want to be standing at least 2 or 3 feet back minimum. We are anticipating a deep serve, so we want to account for that. We do not want to get jammed up too tight to the body standing at the baseline. So ready position is going to be a few feet behind this baseline, ready to go forehand or backhand. The trick to the return of serve is meshing the swing and the forward movement all in one motion. We do not want to hit the return and stand back here and admire. It will look something like this when it's done properly. And remember, the goal of a return of serve is not only to hit this ball deep into the opponent's court, it's going to be to arrive at the kitchen line beside your partner, putting maximum pressure onto that serving team. Let's demonstrate. I'm going to line myself up the appropriate distance behind the baseline and watch my server get themselves ready. When this ball comes in, I'm going to swing and run. Ideally, I would arrive at the kitchen line as my opponent is hitting their 3rd shot. Once again, minimize that backswing, exaggerate that follow through. Let's watch once again. Here's a couple examples of poor return of serves. Notice that I'm not giving myself enough space to account for the bounce. I want to make sure that I hit every single ball in pickleball well outside in front of me. This ensures consistency throughout my shots. So, by serving and returning deep, we are putting maximum pressure onto our opponents at the beginning of every single rally, regardless if we are the serving or the receiving team. This has to be absolutely routine. Before we get back to the video, here are a few more tips about your grip. You want to maintain either a continental or an Eastern grip. This enables you to hit both forehands and backhands without having to modify your grip. How to get to these? We can either put our hand on the right-hand side of the paddle, handshake grip for an Eastern, or come across the top down to the handle for continental. They're very, very similar. Grip pressures. We want to maintain either a 3 out of a 10 for all of our soft game shots or a 5 or 6 out of 10 for all the powerful shots. So we're gonna vary shaking hands softly and a constant handshake for the powerful ones and the soft ones. And lastly, don't forget to snag your Pro Light No Sweat Diamond grips.
for maximum control, stability while you have sweaty hands. Use code PICKLEBALLUNION for 25% off for everything on the ProLite website.
The second most common mistake 3.5 level players make is not keeping their opponent back. We do not want to invite the serving team forward and make it easy on them. At the fourth shot, we want to aim as deep and as low into the court as we can to ensure that the opponent is taking the ball below their knee and we are keeping them back, making them earn their way forward. Let's demonstrate how we do this. If we've done our job properly at the return of serve, we will have arrived and plant at the kitchen line as the opponent is hitting their third shot. This is vital. This buys you ample time of planning and reacting to whatever they're about to send your direction. Now, we have a couple options here of what we can expect. If a drive is coming, we want a low, wide stance. We want to hit this ball out in front. We want to keep this ball as deep into their court as possible, not to invite them forward too easily. Otherwise, we're going to try and take most of their drop shots either out of the air with the same intended goal, or if they do get it to bounce, we're going to step back to make a little bit of space so we can still hit the ball out in front. However, regardless of which ball we are receiving, our goal is always the same. Never short, always deep into the court. It is the same target we are trying to achieve for both the serve and the return. Let's call it 3 feet from the baseline. Depth is your goal. Do not invite your opponent forward. Let's demonstrate. Here are a few bad examples of what we do not want to do. Now, here are some great examples on how we should be putting maximum pressure on our opponents by hitting our balls deep. Notice, every one of my balls had a low ball flight, it was relatively low across the net, and it achieved the goal of hitting this ball as deep into the opponent's court as possible. We want to make that serving team earn their way forward. However many shots that we have to hit, we want to stay consistent, we want to hit this ball in the same spot, deep into the court every single time. And remember, stay patient here. We have more to lose than the serving team. If we overhit one too hard and we hit this ball out of bounds, we've awarded them a free point. So we want to be consistent, but we want to be aggressive. We do so by hitting this ball nice and deep into the opponent's court. The third most common mistake 3.5 level players make is not resetting in the transition zone. Remember, when we're in the middle of the court, we are at a disadvantage, especially when our opponent is up at the kitchen line. How we play this intelligently is that we try and drop balls, which we call resets, into the kitchen. If I can drop this ball and prevent my opponent from being aggressive, I've reset our present court positioning. If I can drop it shallow, I will slowly move myself forward. So when we find ourselves in this deep blue portion, my goal is to hit this ball softly, not get into a hands battle from this distance. Let's demonstrate some bad examples of what not to do. We're gonna do this drill by one player staying at the kitchen line and one player starting in the back. I'm gonna try and earn my way forward. Remember our target from the serve, the return, and the fourth. I will not be moving forward from this position until I can cross these first 2.5, 3 feet. We're gonna refer to this as the zone of death. Do not get stuck playing here. If the shot is bad, we stay back. We keep hitting soft shots until we can earn our way forward. If the drop is decent, we can move just beyond this zone. Let's demonstrate. Here are some examples of what to not do. Notice, if I try to attack from this position, I'm at a huge disadvantage. In this depth of the court, my best option, my highest percentage option, is to try and drop balls into Ann's kitchen to prevent Ann from continually being aggressive against me. So think, if you're deep and you're at a disadvantage, try and hit every ball softly. How we do this, ideally I'm gonna try and hit every ball between my feet. Try to refrain from stretching too far outside the body. this does not typically end well. We're gonna move our feet around and try and gently nudge this ball into the kitchen. The best shots we will send from this position will ideally lower our opponent's paddle. The lower they go, the safer we are to move forward. Let's demonstrate. Now, to complete this entire procedure, we're gonna do a drill where Ann tries to keep me back, hitting all of her balls beyond the cones, and I'm gonna do my best to try and drop balls as shallow as possible. If I deem that a ball is good, I will gradually move myself forward patiently. However, if the shot that I hit is not quality enough, I'm gonna remain right where I am, and I'm gonna try and get the next one in. Here we go. Here's some examples of some bad decision making. Those were the 3 most common mistakes that 3.5 level players make. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to Pickleball Union.